The Critters franchise just added a 5th movie with Critters Attack, so let's rank all 5 movies from worst to best. Hey everybody, my name is Justin. I love to watch movies. If you guys love to watch movies too, you guys are in the right spot. Make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and click that bell notification so you guys don't miss any of my up and coming videos. Today we're going to be ranking all 5 of the Critters films. This B horror franchise started in the 80s with Critters and eventually took the franchise to space and then waited a couple years to bring Critters 5, Critters Attack. I did not see any of the Critters movies growing up, and it took a few years for me to actually know what the Critters were. And so last week I watched the Critters movies for the first time. So before we do get into the ranking video, make sure to rank all 5 of the Critters movies down below. Have you seen the new one? What did you think about it? And where does it go with the other 4 films? So let's start this video off. Coming in at number 5 in last place is Critters 4. Critters 4 took them to space, and usually when you take your franchise to space, it's all downhill from there. But the franchise actually started in space and then brought it down to Earth. So it makes sense to take it back to space. But this movie featured Charlie, who's only one of the 2 characters that appear in all of the movies, except for Critters 5. And he went to space along with the Krites, who are the Critter characters, and it disregarded the tone that was previously set up in the previous 3 movies. The previous 3 movies are very campy and are, at times, can be a lot of fun. This movie did not maintain that tone that made people fall in love with the previous 3 movies. This one just wasn't that exciting. The Critters weren't as vicious as I've seen them before. Overall, it's not a very entertaining film, and it could have been fun taking it into space and being something a little bit different, but the tone just did not match the previous 3 films, and I found that to be pretty disappointing. Coming at number 4 is Critters Attack, the most recent film, and much like Critters 4, this film managed to not maintain that tone that was set up in the first 3 films. The movie tried too hard to have all these funny moments, and it just did not work. We also had the main character, Drea, who was supposedly really smart, and she couldn't get into this college though, but at the end she wanted to be a bounty hunter. What was the point of telling us that she was very smart in the first place? Also, they brought back Dee Wallace, who was in the first Critters movie, but she did not play her character from that film. She starred as someone new, a bounty hunter who did not have any backstory. We did not know her motives or her killer instincts at all. So I thought that was pretty lazy to bring back Dee Wallace. Even though it was cool to see her in her role, her character was pretty disappointing. Coming at number 3 is Critters 3. This movie stars Leonardo DiCaprio. In my opinion, this movie should have got him his first Academy Award. Critters 3 was a fun film. Performances were really bad. Charlie was briefly in this movie, and he had a redeeming moment at the end, which set up Critters 4 going into space. This movie felt very claustrophobic. It mostly took place in one setting, which I did admire. This movie is bad. Most of the Critters movies are bad, but 1, 2, and 3 are movies that are so bad they're good, and you laugh a lot at what is happening. And Critters 3 is much like that. There's literally a scene where the critters drink soap and they're blowing bubbles. I mean, come on. What do you expect from a movie like that? Coming at number 2 is Critters 1. This was a fine movie, the fine introduction to the Critters franchise, and like I said, it's not a very good film, but it's an enjoyable film. It's a film that is a B horror movie. It's cheesy, it's hilarious at times, and I'm laughing at what the critters are doing. They could be vicious at times. They just roll around in a little ball and they jump and they attack you. Some of the kills are interesting to watch, and at times they do build some suspense, much like and at times they do build some suspense. It's from the point of view from the Krite as they're rolling around the house. Kind of like what Chucky 1 did and the first Leprechaun movie did. It's kind of from the point of view of them, which I do like in a horror movie. But this movie is very cheesy and it's still very entertaining. This movie also did feature Charlie, the star of his storyline, the town drunk, and he wanted to become a bounty hunter at the end of the movie. This movie was featured. The movie started off with a few bounty hunters in space, and they were sent down to Earth to try to kill these Krites, these critter characters, and Charlie was admired by what they were doing. So he had a little bit of a redeeming story, which I did appreciate towards the end of the movie, and it did lead into the second film. So coming at number 1 is Critters 2. I enjoyed this movie because it brought back Charlie. The characters were excited to see him. Scott Grimes, who is on the Orville, is in this movie, and they were so excited to see him because they built that relationship up in the first movie. And he's not drinking anymore. He comes back from space along with the other bounty hunters, and so he's like regarded as a hero. So I really like Charlie's storyline and what they did with him in the second film. And the movie is still very campy, it's still very cheesy, the Krites are still ridiculous. But this one's fun to watch because Charlie gets a lot to do in this movie compared to any other movie. I like Charlie's story in this movie compared to any other movie. And with that, that's why it sits at number 1. So there you guys have it, all 5 of the Critters movies ranked worst to best. Have you seen any of these movies? And if you have, how would you rank them? Let me know in the comment section down below. My name is JustinWatchesMovies. Make sure to stay tuned for more up and coming videos, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.